What's up, YouTube? I hope each and every one of you guys are healthy and enjoying life today. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing the 2024 Mazda CX-5 Preferred. Huge thank you to Matt May over at Safford Brown Mazda of Chantilly, Virginia for allowing me to do this video for you guys today. If you are interested in this particular CX-5 or any Mazda product, I'll be sure to have Matt's information on screen as well as in the description box down below. But with that said, let's get into the video. All right, well, like usual, first I'm going to talk about the exterior and the performance. So like I said, this is a 2024 Mazda CX-5 Preferred, and this particular one has been painted in jet black mica. A couple things that I like about the CX-5 in general is just how sharp, sporty, and premium it looks for a vehicle at this price point. I think Mazda, in my personal opinion, does a great job designing their vehicles. I love their design language, from the Miata to the CX-30 to the CX-5, and pretty much across their entire model lineup. I think they do a great job, again, designing vehicles. But as standard with the Preferred, you get LED headlights with auto leveling and high beam control, as well as LED daytime running lights and standard turn signals. I did want to mention, I did a video with a Turbo Premium just a bit ago, and the daytime running lights on this are different than the daytime running lights on the Turbo Premium. That is where you'll find the daytime running lights on this, whereas on the Turbo Premium, these pieces right here are the LED daytime running lights on that model. Just thought I might point that out because, you know, you might get a little bit confused by what you were seeing. But anyways, moving on from there, you get a gloss black front grille with the bright signature wing. And what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the bright signature wing is basically this chrome trim piece at the bottom of your grille. And then you also may be able to notice you have your Mazda logo located at the center of your front grille. And then taking a step back and coming down just a little bit, you get a satin black, mostly open lower grille, which is what this is right here. So you can see this part is mostly open, and then you get that satin black on both sides of that. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get this satin black front chin, is what I like to call it. So basically like a satin black trim piece at the bottom of your front bumper. And then last but not least, you get 7.6 inches of ground clearance with the Preferred. And another thing I wanted to mention is that on the higher end trim levels of the CX-5, you get 0.3 inches more of ground clearance. Couldn't tell you why, but all I can tell you is that that is fact, because, you know, the Turbo Premium I did a video with had 7.9 inches of ground clearance, whereas this one has 7.6. So does the trim level below this also has 7.6 inches of ground clearance. Just a little nugget of information I figured I might throw into this video. But coming down the side, you get these body color wheel arch moldings, and then these are the standard and the only wheels you can get with the Preferred, and they are a 17-inch gray metallic finish wheel, and they are wrapped in 225/65 Yokohama Geolandar G91 tires. I'll give you a view of the tread pattern on these tires here real quick. That is what they look like. Here's another view of the wheel itself, and by the way, these are the only wheels you can get with this trim level. But anyways, coming up, as standard with the Preferred, you get rain sensing wipers. So basically what I mean by that is that the wipers themselves, or the vehicle itself, will adjust the intensity or the speed of the wipers dependent on the intensity of the rain. So it is a very, very nice feature, and definitely nice feature for a vehicle at this price. But coming down the side, you get body color mirror caps with integrated LED turn signals. And as standard, these side view mirrors are power adjustable, manual folding, and you will get your blind spot monitoring on the upper left hand side of your driver's side mirror and on the upper right hand side of your passenger side mirror. You may notice that I did not mention that the side view mirrors are heated, and that is because you do have to step up to a higher trim level in order to get the heated side view mirrors. But now, taking a step back, here's a little side profile shot of the CX-5. You may notice you get that satin black window trim at the top of your windows. Then you get the satin chrome window trim at the bottom of your windows. You also get body color door handles with keyless access. Just keep in mind, the keyless access function is only on your two front door handles. The rear door handles do not get that keyless access function. And then coming down all the way to the bottom of your passenger doors, you get body color door cladding, which is basically this piece right here. But anyways, coming down the side just a little bit more, I am going to open up this door here, and I'm going to pop open our fuel door. So you do have to pop open that from the interior. and show you what we got going on in here. So you still have to twist that off so you do not get a capless filler neck, but I figured I might show you what that looks like down in there. 87 octane will do you just fine. Coming up top here, you get a body color shark fin antenna, you get a body color roof spoiler with your integrated third brake light up top here. I know it's not going to pick up on camera all that well, but there you go. Rear window defroster, you get a rear wiper back here, you get your taillights back here as well. They look LED to me, but they don't say that they're LED online, so I would assume that they are incandescent. Then you get your chrome badging with your Sky Active G badging, your Mazda badging, and your CX-5 and all-wheel drive badging. Coming down beneath your Mazda logo, that is where you'll find your backup camera, and then just to the right of the backup camera, you'll feel a little pad. If you press on that pad, your power lift gate will open up. So with the Preferred, you do get a power lift gate to reveal a good amount of storage space considering the size of this SUV. However, this does reveal one option back here. So this vehicle has been optioned with the $250 retractable cargo cover, which is what this piece is right here. So you can bring that out, you can bring that back in, and that is what that looks like. You can also drop the second row seats by pulling on that. So now you can see the second row seat will drop, and they will also fold flat. One thing that is new for 2024 is that you can see how this like piece right here is elevated from down there. So what I was told from one of the salesmen at the dealership is that this is new for 2024, and you can raise this up so then it is flat with the second row seats when the second row seats are folded flat. So then you have just a bunch of flat storage space rather than, you know, a little bit of an incline to the second row seats from the trunk. So that is nice, but you can also, if you don't care about that, you can lower this back down to being flush with this. So right now you can see it's just a little bit above. If you took this out, right, you could basically see, you can stick it down here. So you can see you have probably like an 1.5 inches raised up with that piece right there. But again, you can just stick this piece down under here, and then it goes back to normal, and you get a little bit more you know, cubic storage space back here when you do that. But just figured I might point that out. And then you also do get these carpeted floor mats back here, and then underneath here again you do get your spare tire. So you get a spare tire down underneath there, you get your jack down under there as well. And then on the passenger side of the trunk, you get a 12-volt power outlet. Again, you pull on these and this one over here, and that will drop your second row seats. There's quite a bit of storage space back here. I would say if you stacked them, you could probably fit 6 or 7 carry-on suitcases back here if I had to guess. But really, that's kind of about it for what we got going on back here. If you press on this button, that's going to drop your power liftgate. You also get a light right there as well. Figured I might point that out before liftgate closes all the way. And then coming down just a little bit more, you get 2 reflectors back here, there and there. You also get a body color lower bumper, which is what that piece is right there. Coming down, you also get a satin black rear valance and a dual exhaust setup. And if you were wondering if you could tow anything with this vehicle, the max tow capacity of the Preferred is 2,000 pounds. So you could probably pull a jet ski or 2 if you wanted to, maybe an ATV, something like that. But just know you do get a max tow capacity of 2,000 pounds. Let me know what you guys think of the CX-5 Preferred in the comment section down below so far. Do you like what you see? Do you not like what you see? Let me know in the comments down below. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into performance. Popping open that hood reveals that 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder that makes 187 horsepower and 185 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission for a 0 to 60 time in 8.7 seconds. And if you were wondering about fuel economy, you can achieve 26 miles per gallon in the city, 31 miles per gallon on the highway for 28 miles per gallon combined with all-wheel drive, which in my opinion, I think those fuel economy numbers are very, very good for a vehicle of this size. And you know, that 0 to 60 time doesn't really suggest that this thing is very quick. However, it's definitely quick enough. It could be a little bit quicker, but that is why they also offer the turbo models as well for those of you looking for just a little bit more power. But really, if you're not really into power, you want good fuel economy, and you know, you just want to get from point A to point B, this thing has more than enough power for those of you like that. If you have a lead foot, you might want to look into getting a turbo model. But if you're enjoying the video so far today, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get to my goal without your support. So if you've learned anything from this video, if you've enjoyed this video in any sort of capacity, please take a second, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button. The likes and comments especially look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, which is how my channel grows. So I'd really appreciate it if you would take a second to do those things. But with that stuff out of the way, let's move into the interior. Moving on into the interior, like I mentioned earlier in the video, you do get keyless access. So all you have to do is have your key fob in your pocket, walk up to the vehicle, press on this button right here, and the vehicle will unlock. You can press on that very same button again, and the vehicle will lock right back up. I did also want to show you what the key fob looked like, as well as a couple of the functions on the key fob. So the majority of the key fob is satin black. You get your Mazda logo on one side, and then you also get some chrome trim at the top and the bottom of the key fob itself. Your functions are on the side of the key fob. Starting from the top, you have your lock function, your unlock function, your power liftgate function, and your panic function all the way down at the bottom. But now let's take a look at this interior. So I love this interior. I think it looks great, and this is called the parchment leather interior, kind of like a whitish beige type of seat color. It looks very, very nice. But before I get into that kind of stuff, we're going to start with the door panel. So at the top of the door panel, you get some vinyl wrapping, you get some gray trim, you get a satin chrome looking door handle, you have your power side view mirror controls, your unlock and your lock functions. That is to restrict your passenger window privileges, automatic up and down windows at all four corners. You get a nicely padded armrest, a good amount of miscellaneous storage space down there, and a speaker. But now taking a look at our front seats, you do get a 8-way power driver seat with power lumbar and seat memory as standard, and then you also get a 6-way power passenger seat, and both of these seats are also heated as well. Here are your seat controls for the driver. Those are your power lumbar, and then you get 2 memory seat adjustment settings down here as well. You also get a floor mounted accelerator, which is nice to see on this vehicle. But now let's step on into the interior, and basically I'm just going to walk you throughout the interior, but I'm going to close the door first, and we're going to start this thing up. Push your foot on the brake, key in the interior, and push to start. And that is what it sounds like when you fire this thing up from the interior's perspective. So now basically what I'm going to do is just walk you throughout all the controls here on the interior. So over here, HVAC vent, that button right there is to pop open or close your trunk. Then you have this button right here is basically like your off-road mode kind of button. This is to turn lane keep assist on or off. This is to turn your auto stop start system on or off. And then down there you can pop open the hood, and then you also pop open your fuel door by pulling that thing back there. Now, coming over to here, flipping this thing down gives you access into your manual tilting and telescoping steering wheel, so you can bring the steering wheel towards you. You can push the steering wheel away from you, and then you can also move the steering wheel up and down until you find your comfortable position, which is about right there. And then push that back up to lock it into position. And now, let's take a listen to our turn signal. That is what the turn signal sounds like on this vehicle, but this is also your headlight control stock. So all the way, that is headlights off, headlights automatic, parking lights on, and then all the way up is headlights in the always on position. Zooming back out, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel, and just like any other vehicle, you have your horn at the center of the steering wheel. So let's take a listen to it. That is what the horn sounds like on this vehicle. Now, over here, you have your volume control. So volume up, volume down, and then if you push on that, that is going to mute the audio system. And then pushing on that is to go forward on a track. Pushing on that is to go backwards on a track. And then you can hear it's playing music right now. And then if you see that info button right there, if I click on that, that is to control what we got going on that side of the gauge cluster. But I'll get into that here in a second. This is to speak to the vehicle as well as pick up on a phone call. This is to hang up on a phone call. And as standard with this vehicle, you get adaptive cruise control. So these are your adaptive cruise control settings on this side of the steering wheel. That's a closer look at that. And then this is your windshield wiper control stock for your front windshield wipers and your rear wiper. And like I mentioned, you do get rain sensing wipers as standard. Now let's move into our gauge cluster. So all the way to the left, you have your tachometer. I apologize that the sun glare is there, but that's a closer view of the tach. That is your transmission status stuff. You have your analog speedometer at the center. And then coming over to here, you see this little stick. This is to brighten the gauge cluster when twisting to the right. And then this is also to dim the gauge cluster, as well as the infotainment system and your backlit buttons if you twist that to the left. So left is to dim, right is to brighten. And now that I've gone through that, let's go throughout our 4.6 multi-info display on the right-hand side of our gauges. So this is a digital screen. Again, it is 4.6 inches big. And then at the top right now, it is displaying the coolant temperature gauge. Then you have your compass, your fuel range. That is the odometer. That is the ambient exterior temperature. And then you have your fuel gauge down here. Again, clicking on this info button will bring you into your different screens. So right now, you got your instant fuel economy stuff at the top. This is your average fuel economy stuff. And then you still have your temperatures and odometer down there. Clicking that button one more time, you get your trip B information. This is like your service stuff. Then you have your driver assistance stuff, and then it's going to bring you back into this screen. So not very many screens, but you can see exactly what you need to on that screen. Up top here, you basically get some vinyl, some more vinyl here. And then coming over to here, as standard with this vehicle, you get a 10.25-inch infotainment system with wired Apple CarPlay and wired Android Auto connectivity. So this is what the screen looks like. When you are in either the wired Apple CarPlay or the wired Android Auto screen, it is touchscreen. By the way, 703. Is that a sign? I don't know. This video may be big because of that. But anyways, you can see to control the screen, it is not touchscreen. So you do have to come down here to this scroll knob, which actually makes things very easy, especially when you are driving. So basically, twisting to the left is going to bring me all the way up to my information stuff. You can go in between your vehicle status monitor and your fuel efficiency stuff. You also get a back button by clicking on that. You can go back into this. You can see your fuel efficiency monitor. That is what that screen looks like. I'm going to go back into the home screen. You can go into your entertainment stuff. So that's a song. You get your home button, shortcut button. Then you got your navigation screen in here. That is what that looks like. You read that. Clicking on that button, you can go back into your settings stuff. So you can see all of these different settings. You can see your vehicle settings, your in-vehicle display settings. So you can adjust the brightness, the contrast, all of these different things here. And then coming back, clicking that, I want to show you, you can also go into your sound settings. I do believe this vehicle comes standard with a 6-speaker sound system. Let's see, yep, 6-speaker audio system. Sounds pretty good. However, you know, they wouldn't offer an optional Bose sound system if this was the best sound system. So this sound system is actually pretty good, like I mentioned, but after being in the Turbo Premium with the Bose sound system, the Bose sound system is obviously better. You know, that car costs more money. So if you really like listening to music, try to find maybe one of these CX-5s with the Bose sound system. I don't remember which trim level you have to get in order to get that, but this one still sounds plenty good. But if you really like listening to music, then you might want to consider getting that. But if I click over to the left on that, it's going to bring you into your notification screen. And then if you basically like push up like this, it would bring you into your Android Auto stuff. If I pulled down like that, that would bring me into my Apple CarPlay stuff. So again, you do have to connect a USB device on this. I do believe you have to go to the Premium Plus in order to get wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. And then that's your time. And that kind of about does it for that screen. Coming down just a little bit more, you get 2 HVAC vents, your hazard button. Then this is your push button start button. This lets you know if your passenger airbag is on or off, as well as who is buckled. Coming down, like I mentioned, heated front seats with 3 levels of adjustability. Heated front seat button for the passenger over there. Then you do get dual zone climate control as standard. And when you turn the climate control system on, this is what the system looks like. You can see the temperatures, the fan speed, where it's blowing, and if AC is on or off. And then again, both of those controls there. Turning that back off, you get the power button. Coming down, you get a 12-volt power outlet. You get a spot you can set a phone. This is your gear shift selector, and it is leather wrapped. So going into drive, if I flip this over to the left, now I can control the transmission. So if I pushed up, that is to downshift, pull down to upshift, and that is that. Push up to go into sport mode, pull down to go into normal mode. And then coming back, this is your electronic parking brake that will light up when the parking brake is engaged. This is your auto hold button. So basically this auto hold feature is if you're stuck in traffic, you're tired of holding your foot down on your brake by yourself, when you engage that, the vehicle will hold you in place by itself with its braking system. And then you may notice you have these different buttons in the scroll knob. Again, the scroll knob and these buttons are to control your 10.25-inch infotainment system, but you can shortcut into your music stuff. You can shortcut into the home screen, shortcut into the navigation screen. But then you see that little favorites looking button. If you click on that favorites button, it will bring you into this, and basically you can add a new favorite by pressing and holding on this, I guess. So you can basically make this button what you want it to be. So it's a pretty cool button. That's a configurable button is how I would describe that. And then this is your volume control knob here. If you press and hold on that, that's going to mute the audio system. Then you get 2 cup holders here, a nicely padded armrest. Opening up the armrest, if you open this, you get a USB-A port, 2 USB-A ports. You also get a 12-volt power outlet right there as well. You get this divider here, and if you take the divider out, I would say you have about, 7 or 8 inches of depth down in there, so a good amount of storage space in there. Then you do not get a lockable glove box, but you get a decent amount of storage space in your glove box. Here is like your owner's manual and all the stuff, so you still got a little bit of room for napkins, straws, necessities like that. Some gray trim, another HVAC vent over there. Up top here with the Preferred, you get a auto dimming rear view mirror with HomeLink. HomeLink is your universal garage door opener. So if you own a house with 3 different garage bays, you can open up those 3 different garage bays individually. And then I believe these buttons right here are to turn your auto dimming rear view mirror on or off. This is on, this is off. Up top here, you got a taco holder. Just kidding, that is where you would set your sunglasses. Then this is like your light control switch. So when it's in the middle like this, it's basically flush. That is basically when you open up your doors, the lights will turn on. If you have it to the left like that, now when I open up the doors, the lights will not turn on. And then all the way to the right is your instant dome light on button. All of your dome lights will turn on when it is clicked to the right. Obviously you can see the driver and passenger both get their lights. And then again, with the Preferred, you get a power sunroof that does tilt and slide. So if I pull back on that, the sunroof will slide open. That's the speed in which it slides open, and that's how far it goes back. Let's see if I can pull it back anymore. Nope. And then I also want to show you the tilt function. So if you wanted to tilt the sunroof, all you got to do is push up on that, and then the sunroof will tilt. Push forward on that again, and the sunroof will close back up. Now, taking a look at our visor, you get a vanity mirror with a vanity light. The visor itself does not slide forwards and backwards, but you can slide this piece out for when the sun is in those precarious, situations or whatever. Then coming over here, you get an OPU panel. The front passenger also gets an OPU panel. You get a defroster for your front windows there and there. You also get a speaker on both of your A-pillars, and that kind of about does it for what we got going on here in these front seats. I did want to go over a couple of things that you do get as standard with this vehicle. So as standard, you get the leather seats, you get an 8-way power driver seat with power lumbar with memory as well. Then you get a 6-way power passenger seat, you get heated front seats, you get adaptive cruise control, you get the dual zone climate control system, the auto dimming rearview mirror with HomeLink, and the sunroof. Now I'm going to throw the entire window sticker on screen. You can take a look at the government 5-star safety ratings, the fuel economy, the couple options that this vehicle has, as well as everything that you get as standard. But basically, I am just going to highlight the MSRP. So the MSRP of the way that this particular 2024 CX-5 Preferred is spec'd is $32,350. Let me know what you think of that price in the comments down below. In my opinion, considering the way that this is spec'd, considering that this interior is pretty nice and it rides nice, it looks nice, I think that is definitely worth the money, in my personal opinion, especially because it comes with an automatic transmission and not a CVT. That just adds a ton of value in my book. But I do want to show you what we got going on in these rear seats before moving into the driving portion of the video. So taking a look at what we got going on back here, door panel looks very similar to what you get in the front. Again, automatic down windows. You can see how far the windows go down to about right there. You get a nicely padded armrest, a little bit of miscellaneous storage space, and a speaker, and that about does it for that door panel. You can see the seats themselves are two-tone. You get some black leather on the back of the seat, and then you get that parchment leather on the front of the seat. I think that adds to the premiumness of the vehicle again. And then I think I mentioned this, but you can see that like accent colored piping on the sides of the seat. The salesman also mentioned to me that that accent colored piping is also new for the 2024 CX-5 as well. Anyways, like I mentioned, these seats are fold flat, so you can fold these seats flat. You can see my seat is just a little bit too far back at the moment for that to happen, so I am going to come in here and I'm going to put that seat back into position. This is what the second row seats look like from this perspective, but now let's step into the interior and see what we got going on here in these second row seats. So closing that door again, you get automatic up windows back here. Up top here, OPU panel and a spot you can set your dry cleaning. You get a seat back pocket behind the driver's seat, as well as a seat back pocket behind the passenger seat. You get two HVAC vents down there. You get a center fold down armrest with 2 cup holders, a spot you could set your phone, and a little bit of storage space when you pop that open that reveals 2 USB-A ports. That is definitely very, very nice, especially for a vehicle at this price point, in my personal opinion. Then again, OPU panel, a spot you can set your dry cleaning. You get your 2 dome lights here for the rear passengers as well. Now when it comes to leg and knee room, quite a bit of leg and knee room left. I'd say about have 4 or 5 to 6 inches of leg room left. Here's another view of that as well. I am adjusted behind myself, and I am 5'9". Now when it comes to headroom, 5'9", again, tons and tons of headroom left over. I think even if I was like 6 foot, I'd still be comfortable in these second row seats. But you know, we've talked about the exterior, we've talked about the performance, and now we've talked about what's going on here in the interior of the CX-5 Preferred. So I want to see what this thing's like to drive, as I'm assuming you guys do as well. So I'll see you guys in the driver's seat. All right, now onto the driving portion of the video. Take a listen. Like I mentioned, it's got enough power to get you where you need to go. Is it going to be the fastest thing that you've ever driven? No, but it's going to get you where you need to go efficiently, and you're not going to feel like it's lacking power. You know, there's some vehicles that I've driven before where I'm like, man, this thing is actually like really lacking power. But this does not lack power, even though, you know, it's not the fastest thing that I've driven, but it's not slow, but it is slow. Does that make sense? It's slow, but it's not super slow. And that's just like the Mazda Miata. You know, it's slow, but it's not slow. You know, that doesn't make any sense, but I think some of you will understand what I'm talking about. It's not too slow. Like, here's a Ford. Like, as you saw, like, the initial bite threw me back in my seat, like it actually did. But the shifts are just a little bit slow. And we're gonna see, do the shifts sharpen up at all when you put it into sport mode? Let's see. It seems like the shift might have been, you know, slightly faster. I don't know, could have been placebo, but to me it felt like the shift was slightly faster in sport mode. And I'm gonna try that again because I want to figure out if that was placebo or not. So let's figure that out. I think it might be slightly faster. Just slightly, ever so slightly faster, shift-wise in sport mode. And what I wanted to say is thank you, Mazda, for continuing to put an automatic transmission in this vehicle. Thank you for not putting a CVT in this vehicle. However, there's a caveat to that. I think it is time to put an 8-speed automatic transmission in this, or a 9-speed, something like that, that shifts just a little bit quicker. Now, I hate to complain because there is an automatic transmission in this, but it does shift just a little bit slow. It could be a little bit faster, but I'm not complaining. You know, it shifts fast enough for me, but I know some people would complain about it shifting just a little bit slow. So I figured I might just throw that out there, but really, I'm just glad that there's not a CVT in this thing. So I'd rather have this automatic a million times over than a CVT. So thank you, Mazda, for putting an automatic in this. Sorry I had to complain about something, but that was the one thing that I could complain about. Another thing I wanted to mention is that this screen is touchscreen when you're connected to Apple CarPlay. But if it's touchscreen when you're connected to Apple CarPlay, then why isn't it always touchscreen? That doesn't really make sense to me. I kind of want the ability to be the screen to be touchscreen and me be able to control this screen throughout this knob. Most of the time I probably use the knob anyway, but you know, there's those times where I just want to, you know, touch the screen real quick and then get me to the next screen, which if the screen is touchscreen anyway, then why not let me use the screen most of the time? Another thing I wanted to mention is that this screen, when in the Apple CarPlay, again, this is wired Apple CarPlay, wired Android Auto, you can only touch the screen in the Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto stuff when the vehicle is stationary. Whereas, let's say on the Premium Plus and up, you have the wireless Apple CarPlay and the wireless Android Auto, and you can still touch the screen in wireless Apple CarPlay and in wireless Android Auto when the vehicle is moving. So just something I figured I may point out. I just think it's kind of odd that if the screen is touchscreen, why can't I just use it at all times? So that's not necessarily a gripe, but it's just kind of like a what the heck kind of thing. Now we're going to test the handling of this vehicle, so I might as well put it in sport, even though this does not have an adaptive suspension. You know, why not? So we're gonna test the handling here. We're gonna see how she does around this turn. Very respectable handling. Dare I say this is the Miata of SUVs? Is that taking it too far? Because that, I mean, dude, that literally, that handled very, very well. Here's the body roll test. Very, very, very minimal body roll for an SUV. Wow, I am very impressed by the handling ability of this vehicle. Now I'm gonna throw it back into drive. I was in manual. I'm impressed. Handling wise, I am very impressed. And I mean, I should be, because this is, you know, related to the Miata. So we're gonna do a nice little, I'd say 50% acceleration here. Plenty quick, you know what I mean? It is quick enough for sure. Like, I think for like 70% of buyers of this vehicle, I think you'll be happy with the power, but there is going to be like that 30 to 40% of people who are definitely going to want the turbo, because why not? You know, I love the additional power. So if it were me, I'd probably spring for the turbo, but if I was on a budget, you know, I didn't really want to spend more than $30,000 to $32,000, I'd be plenty happy with the kind of power that this thing puts out, because it's not slow. It's just not quite as fast as the turbo model. Obviously, you know, the turbo model feels pretty darn quick. This does not. But here's another little acceleration. If you gotta pass somebody, let's say, this gets better fuel economy than the turbo models as well. So just, you know, some things to weigh out. Turbo, more power. Turbo, less fuel economy. This, less power, more fuel economy. So you just got to weigh your options. What are you looking for? But really, the interior on this is very nice. The sound system is actually surprisingly good for this being the base sound system. However, obviously, you know, the Bose sound system in the higher trim levels is better. I mean, that is what you would expect. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a premium sound system. So you just got to weigh your options. You know, what are you looking for? If you're looking for the best bang for your buck, I think this is the best value when it comes to the CX-5 trim level. One thing that I also like is the auto stop system. It doesn't really, you know, turn the vehicle off until you really push your foot down on the brake. So you can kind of modulate that and, you know, kind of stop the vehicle from turning off if your foot is just a little bit, you know, higher on the brake, but you're still not moving, if that makes sense. So once you push it down a little bit more, that M2 right there looks very good. So you just modulate the brake, and then your auto stop start system won't turn on, or won't turn the vehicle off. But if you just don't want the system on at all, you do have that auto stop start button down there. But yeah, this thing cruises very nicely. I have read a couple things that the suspension is a little bit firm, or I don't really notice, you know, the suspension being too firm. Personally, you know, from my personal experience after driving a few of these now, I don't feel like the suspension is too firm, but you know, everybody's got their own opinion, and that's just my opinion. So yeah, this is a very nice vehicle. I think this thing looks slick. I think it drives great. I also think the interior is very nice as well. The seats are very comfortable. So for the money, again, I think this is a great value. But that's it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy the video, please be sure to give this video a big thumbs up. Please hit that subscribe button. I'm on my journey to 100,000 subscribers, and I cannot get there without your support. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything from this video, please take a second, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment in the comment section down below, and hit that subscribe button. Again, the likes and comments especially look very good for my channel in the YouTube algorithm, and that is what helps my channel grow. So I'd really appreciate it if you would do that. But anyways, again, that is it for today's video. I will catch you all in the next one. Peace.